Hello, welcome to Being Reintegrated. This is Tim Wright. Hey, thanks so much for all of your guys' support and the website for Being Reintegrated, getting the books, because this is an amazing time for Illuminism and Cohen research. So, as y'all know, I'm doing a project on all these materials, and we publish them at Kim Publishing. As a publisher, we are moving into pretty good territory. So the first thing is that we have I completed the first volume of the Watkins manuscript, save for about 20 pages that I cannot find anywhere because one series of documents was done by Cyrem, which I can't find, and then another is in a super rare French magazine from the 1960s that I cannot find. So then there's like one more little journal, and I would have wished that we could have gotten all this material, but I couldn't find it. So if what happens is I find it, I'll re-release the book in a new edition with the included complete, fragments that are missing. But they're so small and minuscule, I don't think that it's going to detract from the overall view, which is that Samartan was basically musing on a lot of topics in his life. And, in the Red Book, it says that this isn't enough to make a book, or this isn't an actual book, but it's enough to make one. Well, the Watkins manuscript is, I think, kind of that book. Now, the thing is it doesn't really go into much Cohen philosophy. So if you're looking to Samartan to give you a play-by-play on the Cohen, that's not really what the Watkins manuscript, at least as I can see from the first part, is saying. It's kind of his view and expansion on errors in truth postulates about government, about religion, about science, about mythology. He gives a philological analysis of the philology. It's hard to say that, of the linguistic background of his time and what he studied. And I got to tell you, it's really good. He gives in the Watkins manuscript, he gives a presentation, although they're really short. He gives a presentation on the Yod He Vav He. So there's a lot of good stuff in it. I don't know. It's not. I'm not like trying to talk it up. It's not. It's nothing other than some musings, which they called pensées in French. Now there was something very interesting I found, that he actually very much revered the German culture and the German language, going as far as on page, I forget what page it is. I think it's like page 200 something, in the conversation about the linguistic. There's two areas basically, and this new version has what I think is Amadou's headings for all of these thoughts. So I included those because they weren't really attributed to Amadou, but throughout the journals and everything, there is a lot of material here. Like I said, cursorily gone through. Nothing is very masterful at all, but it is it's a very good presentation of a lot of good thoughts. That's what I would say. Now, in his treatise on the thoughts on language, or the Pensées de langue, he talks about the German language, reason for the solidity of the German mind, on page 219. And what I did is I did a table of contents, And I'll just read to you this because this is kind of what I found the most interesting out of the book itself. Part one was that in the German mind, he says, I believe to find proof of the solidity of the German mind in one of the rules of their language, which is to place the past tense verb at the end of the sentence with the auxiliary verb at the beginning. For example, instead of, did you deliberate today on the financial matter we spoke of yesterday? They say, did you today on this major financial matter we spoke of yesterday deliberate? By this, the mind and attention are required to suspend until the end, and the listener is forced to wait until the sentence is finished to understand what is being said. I imagined that this accustomed the mind to attention that it naturally carried into the study of sciences, and that this is why Germans generally had more perseverance and depth than many other nations. The Romans, according to this principle, should have carried these qualities of mind even further, as not only is the past tense verb almost always placed at the end of the sentence, but all other verb tenses follow the same rule. The verbs are accompanied by personal pronouns that, at least in German, begin the sentence and determine the agent. These verbs stand alone without auxiliary verbs. Yet the Romans did not shine in sciences. However, one can respond that they excelled in politics and military art. It is there that they demonstrated their depth, and few nations can compare to them on this point. So I read that because I found that profound, that I'm not going to grind my own axe here, but that he felt the French was inadequate to share the actual meaning and spirit of the language which he was getting to, which shows why, based on that linguistic analysis and reverence of the German when he learned it at 50, he determined that German Illuminism probably is stronger than French Illuminism. I know it's apostasy to say that, but that's what I'm seeing. And what I think happened was, as he went through French bourgeoisie, he went through the French Revolution. He talks about that in this book. On a special day, he talks about it. That they specifically referenced in France. Sorry. What he's saying is that he's kind of fed up with the politics. He's fed up with the loss of sovereignty. He's fed up with the emotionality. He's read into Descartes. He's read into all the metaphysicians. Saint-Martin was really, really intelligent. And so what is happening is he's basically, kind of jettisoning the French culture and milieu of thought, and even the way that words are constructed. I mean, French is a very linguistic culture, and to hear him say that basically he gives a little dig. He's like, you need to finish what being said before you start concerning yourself with what was being said. You gotta listen. And I love how he says that, because essentially in the Vajrayana Gnosis, I shared the Similos stuff with people. Most of it, there's some that I haven't shared, and it's not like super secret stuff. I mean, I shared the best stuff, which people know, and that's why the book has a little bit of a higher price point to it, because I basically oust myself from any society of any of the people that would detract from the mission of being reintegrated in Kim Publishing. So I'm okay with that. I mean, we stuck in long enough to really see what people had to offer. I analyzed all the Cohen, blah, blah, blah. So the point is that the Similos was released finally, which was Paul Edward Rana, my sources, intention to release it. So he was going to release it too. I don't feel like I'm doing a bad job of continuing that mission. But the Similos material is being released. And so the Watkins manuscript is, not secret material. It was just super rare. It was basically shattered into lots and lots of pieces, and it was not put back together. We got lucky, and Dominic Clarambeau was able to at least give a presentation on where the pieces could be found. And then I went out with myself and some energies and some patronage from, some people who have interest in this stuff. And we put together the Watkins manuscript. I'm sitting here with Volume 1 completed, and Volume 2 is almost done, and Volume 3 is pretty much just one book. So once I get that all formatted and ready to go, we'll be able to do that. Now that should be by the end of 2025, but you'll see with this what it is. It's a hardcover book, but it's still cheaper than the paperbacks. It's only $35. You can get it on Amazon. It's not a limited production, and the reason why is because I didn't want to put any limits on it. I only am getting back my cost for making, but it's still under market price, so you're welcome. And also I'm trying to make sure that it stays in circulation for perpetuity. Now, what I was going to do was put the French up in the book like my brother Paul did, but that would have made the book way too large since French inflates to almost double the size of English translation. So what will happen is you'll be able to go to Kim Publishing, where eventually all 3 volumes of the Watkins manuscript will be, and you'll be able to get a free download of the French transcription of the Watkins manuscript, volume 1, 2, and 3. That'll help those who want to do a better translation, because back to the conversation, Saint-Martin was a philologist. He was very into language more than anything else, and so he felt like the French was inadequate to present what he was wanting to present. But back with what he said about the German mind, that it creates a tension. This is exactly what Schelling said in the On the World Soul book. Sorry, I have to close my eyes. It's a lot of information, just blah. I don't have any notes that I'm going on, and I don't want to mislead anyone down the wrong path, Now, a lot of you are picking up Schelling. That's great. A lot of people are picking up Schelling. I don't know how valuable it is. One of my other friends, who's a translator and bookmaker, said that he couldn't believe that I made it. It's available. It has Bader's commentary on the actual document at the end of the book. It's hidden. I didn't really release that. It was Bader's commentary on it. But now we're seeing that in the language analysis itself of German, Saint-Martin saying that tension has to be necessary. So we're seeing both the line of the empirical and the line of the philosophical, showing that this tension must happen between, this kind of energy that happens between the spaces. Which I believe is called silence. But, what do I know? But I believe that this energy is actually called silence. So it's not just sitting there and meditating and navel gazing, but actually silence is getting into the ferocious psychic energy that comes up when you're in the in-between area. So I think it has a little bit of a nuance to it that should be explicated, and it's probably better done in the Raja Yoga stuff. Vajrayana Yoga, Raja Yoga, but that's of India. Now, good work for my other brother, Craig Williams. He's coming to Kim Publishing. So in the future, we are going to produce a 3-volume set by Craig Williams, the author of Tantric Physics, The Cult of Golgotha. There's some other books, Entering the Desert, Meditations on the Desert. And so what meditations are Entering the Desert essentially is a guidebook into the alchemical tradition, the yogic tradition, the tantric yogic, not sexual, but that's not excluded, the yogic position of like looking through these levels of subtlety. And Craig does an amazing job. I mean, I have his books. I was really happy to have known about him through Paul Edward Rana, and then we connected, and he said that he wanted to make some books for Kim Publishing, so they're for him, but Kim Publishing is going to pick him up as an author. Now, he already has his books released exclusively through his current publisher for his past volumes, so this is just a project he's doing with Kim, and very, very grateful he is. Amazing stuff. Now we have some other stuff in hand too, that we're going to be doing video lectures of Craig through a lot better than my setup. I mean, I use a green screen, so you'll probably see blips and blops everywhere. You know, that's fine for my purposes. I'm just sitting here, but Craig is going to have a professional videography done, audio video department for another one of our members is going to contribute to that work, and we're going to pay for it, so it's awesome. And basically, I'm trying to come in at underbidding myself as a publisher so people don't feel taken advantage of anymore. I mean, the reason why these books are high is because, truth be told, Amazon's cut is pretty high. It's substantial. Now, they're doing a lot of work. They're providing the material, but their cut is in addition to the cost of materials. So it is what it is. Eventually, I will be releasing not the Watkins manuscript, but through Kim Publishing, we'll probably release a couple more hardcovers as limited editions. The Similas book is selling out pretty fast, so if you're interested, definitely go and grab yourself a copy, because this is the first time it's ever been made available. And like I said, I broke affinities and oaths to be able to bring it to you. So some people are getting the Similas material on Amazon. The other is this amazing Vajrayana-like teaching that Similas, or the Frères d'Orient, has put together. Now that's available in the book called, I love these little slippy books, Becoming the Vision. Frères d'Orient, Becoming the Vision, Yogic Mysteries of the Self. That can be purchased through Amazon, though I didn't give the link. I really like it. I think it's really good. It has a kind of Rosicrucian vibe to it, but it's not scientific rationalism, and that's the thing that needs to be understood, is that a lot of this stuff, and you know, if you know, is not scientific rationalism. It suspends the rational mind so the spiritual architecture can start exerting itself. Anyway, super happy with all this material. Thank you for patronizing Kim, or being patrons of Kim Publishing, and then also coming to the Patreon and doing the subscription there. That helps a bunch because we're able to keep doing this. Anyway, glad to introduce the Watkins manuscript. Hope you guys all come and pick it up. Hope you're grabbing some of the Similas material while it's available. And more to come from Kim Publishing, you know, because this is a new thing. Illuminism is here to stay. And definitely with the technology that's being utilized in 2025, we're able to really do some miraculous stuff. So, you know, thank you so much for walking in the journey with us, for participating in all of this stuff. And that's just a little brief synopsis of the Watkins manuscript, what I found on first read without my proof copy. So, you know, there are bound to be errors any publication that's ever made. Even some of the Braille publications I've read have errors in them. So, you know, there's no such thing as a perfect thing, but we're getting close to as good as we can get. So every now and then there's a slight adjustment that needs to be made. Even Paul Edward Rana, who was excellent at detail-focused work, found that there was always editing to be done. So, you know, the job of a bookmaker is not an easy job. You have to produce something of value, but also not diminish your product so badly that it won't be able to be released. So that's what we're doing here. Every now and then something does pop up. Something is a little garbled. It'll be fixed. If it's a big issue for you, you know, email us over at Resurrected Cohens or get a hold of me at the Patreon, and I'll do what I can to make it right, because I'm not here to take advantage of the community. Kim Publishing is here to stay. These books are super valuable. I study from them myself. I mean, it's not like I released Frères d'Orient and I don't think it's good material. I really love some of the Hecate and the Dark Goddess stuff, since one of my patron goddesses is Vajrayogini. I'm very much into that book. So, but I'm trying not to go like crazy tism into any one topic. I'm trying to give you a vast panorama of everything that's available. No pun intended. Anyway, hope that was helpful. That's another video introducing the Watkins manuscript part 1 for the very first time in history from Kim Publishing.